Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Well, Hurricane Calvin has been downgraded overnight to a tropical storm, but we're still going to have a very healthy respect for that kind of a system. They're currently predicting up to about 12 inches of rain right here where I'm standing, and that could easily be less or a lot more. I've seen it be that way several times, where they say 12 inches and we get 20 inches. So with all of that into consideration, I'll go over a few points that we do here to make sure we're always ready for any event. So that storm is currently out that way, and all the models show it making a direct beeline for basically where I'm standing right here. There is a cone of uncertainty, of course, but all the models right now are predicting it to pretty much do a direct hit with whatever force it has right about here. So we're ready, as ready as I feel we can be, and still preparing for the possibility of being stuck back in here for a little while. And out here, all the properties are just covered with these ohia trees, and most of them are 40 to 60 feet tall at least, and there's just an abundance of them. Now in a strong wind, a lot of these can come toppling down, and they have in the past, and we've actually had to cut our way out of here with chainsaws before. Hopefully that won't occur this time, but even with a tropical storm, you can get those squirrely winds that can just lay down a patch of the forest in the places where you might need to get out, across the road, whatnot. It's happened before, but we're going to hunker down with this storm and hope we don't have to do any road clearing. So we're already stocked up with everything we could possibly need: food, water, any of your medications, um, pet food, everything you would possibly need to be hunkered down for a while. That's not much of a preparation in general here, because we're always set up for that kind of a situation where any eventuality, we're ready to stay hunkered down for a while if need be. In hurricanes past, like I said, there's been enough trees go down that it takes a while to get the roads cleared, and you just don't want to be caught short of anything. And then now that the media is telling everybody to stock up on various supplies and be prepared for anything, which is smart. But the more that information gets out there, the more I want to avoid the stores, because I have done it many years ago. You run out a day or two before the storm's going to hit, and you'll be very disappointed at what you find available. So we keep all the essentials always stocked up here, ready to go. And at first sign, if there was anything needed to get extra, I would be going, especially with a hurricane where you sometimes have at least a week's warning that one's even in your neighborhood. That's the time to go make sure everything's ready. Get it, hope you don't need it, but you've got it if you do. And then one of the other things that you really need to decide about is if you are ready and willing to hunker down in place. Some people, for various reasons, might not be able to do that, or might not want to do that. They might need to be a little closer to infrastructure for various reasons, whether it's health, family, whatever it may be. But once you've made the decision to hunker down, I'm going to go over a few things that we do out here to make sure that you're okay with that, and you can alleviate the stress as much as possible with one of these big storms coming your way, because not overly anxious about it at all. Been through some pretty good storms here in the past. This one is yet to reveal itself in its full potential. So not going anywhere, prepared to stay here, got everything we need. And of course, being completely off the grid, non-solar, we have all of our backup power that we're going to need. We do even have some backup to the backup. That's just how we like to do it out here. And the other thing I'll say is, before, with some of these tropical storms, have seen a lot of pretty good and significant lightning events. And what I've done in the past, whether it was here or up in those Colorado mountains that I've talked about before, when I can see or hear the lightning coming this way, I go ahead, I disconnect everything. I have taken a couple of direct hits in my experience off grid, and both times I had everything possible unplugged and disconnected. And when I took a direct hit, I still lost equipment from the EMP values from those lightning strikes. In both homes that I've talked about here and in Colorado, took a direct hit on the home. Well-grounded systems, it didn't matter. Everything unplugged, did not matter. When you take a direct hit, you're likely going to lose some stuff. And even with things, like I said, that were completely unplugged, uh, they got fried. Quite a few of them, and that really surprised me. And that was, so I've got that information with me now. So that's probably my biggest concern, is that kind of a thing coming. Of course, we can take the rain here, but when they say significant rain here, at a place where we get significant rain, we pay attention. Well, one of the other things, you could be very likely to lose communications. So you want to be thinking about that, and some things that you could do to help, whether it's some, two-way radios. We do employ those out here, so we can stay in touch with some people that are near to us. If all communications were down, we could at least make contact and say, hey, how you doing? How you riding this out? That helps quite a bit too. Haven't had to use that, but it just gives you a little extra peace of mind, knowing that, like, for example, 20 some years ago, when I took that direct hit up in the mountains, my nearest neighbors could tell that I got hit just by the sound. They said it sounded like a bomb went off on my house, and that's what it felt like and what the experience was like as well. But there was no way for them to contact me and make sure that I was even alive. And during that storm, of course, they weren't going to walk out there to make sure. So a simple little radio could have checked in with each other real quick, and I could have said, yeah, I'm still here. The other thing that a lot of people should consider is that if it's a significant event, you're not going to have access to emergency services, most likely. In the case of some of the storms we've had out here, where the roads are impassable, you are on your own. So any kind of first aid you can be thinking of course, your medications, if you're on medications, you don't want to be caught short, because it could be several days at least before any kind of help would come to your aid. 911 is not going to help you after that, not initially, especially the further you are away from town. So those are all things to consider. And if you did decide you were going to bug out, two of the most important things I can think of, and I've seen this happen many times out here, is for when the thing has settled down, whatever it is, whether in our case lava flow disrupting neighborhoods or storms, if you can't prove who you are and where you live, you're not going to get back in that neighborhood. A lot of times they are cordoned off with police barricades, and unless you can prove that you are a property owner, because of looting and all the things that goes on anywhere after disaster, you're going to need to be able to prove who you are and that you have a reason to get past that police barricade. Ran into that many times in some emergencies out here, and that can be a problem. If you bug out too quickly and you didn't take the paperwork you need, you might have trouble getting back in when you want to. So those are really high on my priority list. If you decide to bug out, make sure you take your proper identification and proof of home ownership or residence in some kind of a way. You will need those to get past a police barricade. That caused a lot of angst out here before, but they were trying to protect your property. So, you got to be thinking about that too. All right, well, I hope that gives you guys some ideas. So I'm going to just run down my checklist one time while I'm thinking about it. Got enough food, got enough water, got enough pet food, uh, not on medications, so I'm not worried about that. Got my communications up and running right now with a little bit of backup. Got some movies downloaded in case everything's offline. What else? Got the vehicles fueled up in case, for whatever reason, had to bug out and try and get out. Like I said, we can take a pounding with rain here. If it's only 12 inches, not too worried about that. That's almost considered just a normal day around here sometimes. But like I said, I have a healthy respect for these systems. They're very unpredictable. So yeah, all good here. And hopefully I'll be back talking to you guys about a battery here in the next couple of days. So I'm gonna just hunker down now. Yeah, everything's looking pretty good. The calm before the storm. Gonna be a wet one. If I see anything kind of wild happening out on the road or something, I'll try and get out there and show you like what a real tropical storm out here can do. They can really get your attention, that's for sure. All right, guys, everything is good, high and dry at the moment. This thing will be out of our neighborhood in a few days. Aloha.